It's a beautiful fall day. A good day to go thrifting. And here's what I found today. It's a compact 3-drawer dresser in decent shape. Has a laminate top, but it's actually a pretty nice laminate top. It matches the rest of the dresser pretty well. But it was missing one important thing. It was missing its legs. And here it is on its back, and you can see where the legs used to go in those holes. And they're gone, and somebody replaced them with that base, which is a homemade base. It's decent, but I think it would look a lot better with legs. So that's the plan for this one, to replace the legs. First thing to do was to remove the base, and that was pretty easy. Just took out a few screws and it came right off. And here you can see there's a big crack in this piece where the legs mount, and that would need to be fixed before moving forward. And to glue this, I just used a syringe with some regular wood glue, shot it in there, and then clamped it up. It looked like this dresser had been painted white at one point and then stripped and then refinished. So you can see on the sides of the drawers stain, and then there's also white paint in the grain. So I just wanted to remove as much of that as I could just to make it look a little neater. I just used an orbital sander and sanded away. The finish was in okay condition on this, but I decided to strip it anyway and just start fresh. It's all just big flat surfaces, so it would be a pretty quick refinish, pretty easy. And here I'm just applying the stripper. And I didn't record this whole process because I've covered it so many other times in other videos I have. So if you're curious to see more of the stripping process, take a look around at some of my other videos. Next, I had to fill these holes, and the size of the holes are 7/8 of an inch. So I got some 7/8 dowel, and I cut some slots in the sides of them just to help the excess glue escape when I glued it in. And then I just glued it up and hit it in with a hammer. There's a spot on the front of the dresser at the bottom where a chunk of the wood came out, and it's actually a knot in the wood, and the center of the knot fell out. So I'm going to fill it with this quick wood, which is epoxy putty, and basically you just slice a piece of it off and knead it together until it's mixed well. And then you've got a pretty good amount of time before it gets hard, and you just work it into whatever you're trying to fill. In this case, it's this hole in the front. And I just left it slightly proud of the surface, and then once it hardened, I just came back and sanded it flush. And now it's time to saw off the excess dowel. And these are the legs I'm going to use. I got them off of an old ottoman that I found in a thrift store for like $5. And I think they're going to look good. The legs didn't actually have any finish on them, but they were really old and just had some gunk on the wood, so I just sanded it lightly just to clean it up. And then I stained them with some gel stain from General Finishes, and the color is antique walnut. And after that dried, I just sprayed a few coats of satin lacquer, just from a spray can. So this dresser had been painted white at one time, and even after stripping it, there's still some white paint in some spots in the grain. So here I'm using a fine point Sharpie, a brown Sharpie, and just filling in those spots where that paint is still in the grain. And it worked really well. Here I'm drilling holes to accept the insert nuts that the legs will screw into. And then I have to screw in these nuts into those holes. And you could use a screwdriver, but I found it easier to use the leg basically as a screwdriver and put the nut on the leg and then just thread the whole thing into the hole. And here it is, all done. Thanks for watching.